So, welcome all viewers and supporters to season one of I Am Passionate's Passion and Purpose, where new conversations, real stories, God centered inspirations meet leaders, visionaries, dreamers, and creatives. I am your host, Asiana McCracken, and in today's episode, we'll be covering passion and perseverance. I am super excited to introduce our special guest today, who is a mogul, God-fearing woman, and award-winning host slash journalist, the creative of faith, Miss Gia Peppers. Gia, how are you doing today?
Well, I am grateful for to be your first guest. I'm excited, and it like we were just talking about. It's definitely a season of just pushing through, and so that's where I'm at. I'm pushing through.
Yes, good to hear. Good to hear. Yes, we're super excited to have you here. Passion and perseverance is a great way to start off this season and this
Uh,
episode. Um, I feel like the body of Christ just needs some encouragement. And so, for those who may not know much about Gia, she is everything. Okay.
Thank
Gia
you.
has been able to conversate and just be a glue in the industry for many entertainers, preachers, influencers, and is amazing herself. And so, again, we'll be talking about passion and perseverance. So, Gia, we're going to start off by kicking off the conversation, kind of taking it back to the Genesis vibes, right?
Love.
The start of creation. And one of the first questions I actually want to ask you is the first question I believe that God asked Adam. Where
Mm,
are you? Where are you spiritually? Where are you emotionally, mentally? Just let us know where Gia is.
I love this question. I love how you brought it right on to Genesis, child. And like, I am. I find myself like vacillating between feeling super inspired by like the newness of this season of my life, but also a little overwhelmed, a little lost. Like it's like you know how the fan goes when you have a good fan on the fans that like cover the whole room, and it's like depending on where you're laying, you feel the wind. Depending on where I'm laying, I feel the wind, and if that wind ain't on me, baby, it's a lot. So it's definitely like I know God is always allowing us to meet Him in new ways, and so I've had to really challenge myself to not let burnout get the best of me, but also like be mindful that if you try to avoid burnout, your body will respond. So trying to be mindful of like, okay, if I'm feeling burnt out, do I have to do the 6 things today? Can I just do three? If I can move this call and it's not urgent, can I do that? But also knowing that like this is a hard time for creatives. So I'm always constantly trying to learn how to serve the creatives of faith community better and while being a creative of faith. So it's like that's what I'm saying. It's vacillating between like yay, super inspired. This is amazing. And I'm really tired and I'm really overwhelmed. And Lord, what is happening in my own career and how do I balance it? And so it's all over the place, but I'm still learning how to show up in this season and what it demands of me. And then, I mean, I didn't even get to like, personal life, friends, family, trying to stay present with them, trying to stay present with my mental health journey. And like, so it's a lot. It's a
Yeah.
lot. I'm not gonna lie. I'm in the space of a lot.
Right, right, right. Can definitely relate to that. And like I said,
Yeah.
I feel like that's where the body of Christ is. Like we're just
Yeah.
in the season of God, I'm here, but I don't know what here means. So yes, thank you
Right.
for sharing that. That kind of ties into my next question. You had a lot of intention behind kind of where you're at and being a creative. I would love to just hear your take on being a creative,
Yeah.
where creativity kind of met you, because I know that we have spoken about your dance career, and I would love to just hear
Hmm.
more about, your
Yeah.
perseverance, your journey with that.
Yeah. It's so wild because I was just reminiscing on my days inside of a dance studio, like literally 2 days ago. Um, because it really does tell so much about like your personality as a little girl or a little boy or a person that's like in the dance studio. We started, so I was born a ham. Like I was always very aware that there were cameras. I was always very aware that what what I had. My I was always very willing to be present with the gifts God gave me. I was always watching, like, grew up watching Arsenio Hall with my mom, and like some of my first phrases I ever said as a baby was woo woo woo. Like, I was just always a fan of the culture and really excited to deeply contribute something to the culture. And so, and to gifts and to exploring like becoming. And when I would watch interviews of like, dang, how do they do that? Like, that's so crazy. And so that's kind of where the genesis of my creativity starts. Like, I was always the kid in my room imagining that I was performing in front of 10,000, 15,000 people. I was walking red carpets. I was always at a concert. I was always the featured guest in my room, chat. It was always something going on. Some days I had talk shows, and I would have talk shows with my Barbies and my dolls, and other days I would have on full on, 3LW Destiny's Child concerts. And so I loved the world that I could create in my own space. And I was a huge fan of like Brandy. Like, thank God I grew up when I did, because there were just so many young Black girls available to me to help me model what I thought I could be. So like the Kylas, the Ravens, the Brandies, the Tia and Tamaras, like all of them, I am a product of all of them and the pouring into that my parents gave me. I'm the oldest of three. And so that was big. And then like my mother put us in dance school from the time we were 5 years old. And so my first dance school was in PG County. It's called Spirit of Wings. And then when we were 11, we went to like a more serious ballet school called Jones Haywood School of Ballet, which was one of the first like premier dance companies, ballet schools on the East Coast to accept young Black girls. It opened up in like the 19, I want to say 40s or 50s in DC. And they were one of the first on the Northeast region to accept Black girls to learn ballet. So I knew how important dance was, but I wish I could say I was like super confident. I was not a super confident kid. Like, you would find me in the middle, like behind somebody. Like, my best friend Kristen was like confident, able to catch choreography quickly. I think going from Spirit Wings to Jones Haywood, I realized like these girls are super advanced. I'm not. They were teaching us real ballet. Like, all of a sudden we were speaking French. We were like, oh, like Pas de Bourrée and Chante, and like we were like, what? Me and my sister, we didn't know what. It wasn't as serious when it was just like more of like a liturgical dance school that we were coming from. So we were able to really understand how serious dance was, and these girls were not playing, honey. So we were thrown in. I never fully developed the confidence there. I always remember feeling like, oh, I couldn't get that choreography as fast as the other girl. Oh, I couldn't do that. Let me just hide a little bit. Let me stay in the back a little bit. And little by little, I started to gain more confidence, especially when my mother would send us out to Debbie Allen Dance Academy out here in LA for the summer intensive programs. We were the first class to do the first ever group of summer intensive students. I'm part of that group. No, the second. We were in the second year. They had done 1 year before, and we had done the second year. And we were like, wow, this is crazy. Like, all of a sudden, we were taking class from Dave Scott, who, rest in peace, choreographed You Got Served, and like, all the choreographers from like the biggest, like B2K was big. And we were like, oh my God, they was in the B2K video. Like, oh my God, she was in Justin Timberlake video. Like, all of a sudden, Hollywood and the idea of Hollywood from a girl coming from DC wasn't so far away. And so, Debbie Allen, of course, is the LeSean icon. So our dance recitals at the end of the summer would have Denzel Washington, Brandy, Diana Ross. Like, we were like, all of a sudden, we were little girls from DC, and here we are in the heart of Hollywood talent. And so that just expanded my mind to what I could be. Like, it wasn't so far away. In DC, my mother was very much Cheryl Lee Ralph and Sister Act 2. The choir and the competition is out. You're going to have to get a real degree and real job. And I was like, no, I knew it was real. And so my dance was the foundation of my personality, my humor, my ability to show up on stage, my ability to command a conversation, no awareness of my body on screen, my posture, my ability to, hold a cute little, pose for several minutes, like all of the things all of that was built in dance and community, the importance of community, the importance of being like, child, okay, let me just stand back here. And then also someone pulling you to the side and be like, okay, you want to stay after class extra 10 minutes to try and get this choreo down? Because I thought you were kind of messing up when we did the routine in the floor. Like when they used to call you like three at a time. You'd be like, all right, y'all three, and then it's real different. Like it's real different
Right.
when it's just you
Yes.
learning and then it's time to perform. And so dance was the place where I learned that entertaining and performing actually meant a lot to me. And I ended up doing musical theater because I sing. Acting is a love of mine too. And so I just have always been a multi hyphenate creative. Creativity is just what I under. Oh Lord, my headphones just died, child.
We
Can you
good,
still
sis.
hear me?
Yes.
Okay. It's just what I've always been.
Awesome. That is amazing. And it sounds like, because I told you, Gia, like you crack me up. I love your personality. I love just who you are in regards to an entrepreneur, in regards to your performance. Whether it be you as a host or you as a creative faith, you have different parts of you that are so intriguing and inspiring. And what I love about your journey in dance is that you had mentioned that it wasn't too far. Getting into one thing led you to another. And, here I Am Passionate, we cater around dance, voice, and literature. So there is a huge audience of dancers who watch us, who take our classes, who I mentor, who, need to hear that. And so I kind of want to stay on the topic of dance for a second, because it sounds like a lot of your dance journey has helped you on the journey God has you on. I mean, you
Absolutely.
greats such as Sarah Jakes Roberts, Kelly Rowland, like the
Yeah.
list goes on. And so I know that God has you in a unique field right now, but I would love to hear how perseverance has played a part in your life.
Man, it's just so wild that we're talking. I have like, the prayers of faith prayer calls, when I have like my best friends, we pray, some of my best friends, we pray over each other. And it's like, we have, it was a prayer call that was standing before, part of the reason why prayers of faith exists, because we were praying over that. But like, we were just talking about how like in this season, we've been here before where we're all a little burnt out, all a little overwhelmed. But this one, because the world is in such a weird place, you feel it differently. Like you're like, I can't even look to my president to have sins. Like it's like there's a lot happening always. And I think that more than anything, I'm learning in this season that it is still up to us. Like no matter what happens, we are the co-creator with God as to what happens in our life. And if we hide in our rooms and we hide and consume what's happening on the internet, if we consume too much, if we consume more than we create, especially as creatives, especially as people who were given gifts and are meant to express them, then we are living below what God has for us. And we are hiding from the ability to go and see what the end is going to be. And so I honor my feelings. I think one thing that I tried to do at the beginning of my career was act like my feelings didn't exist.
Hmm.
And when the pandemic happened, and it was like whoa, what happened to all the stages? What happened to all the things? It was the first time where I had to really sit down and be like, okay, no one's applause can distract me from my own thoughts anymore. What is really happening? What am I feeling sad about? What am I feeling fearful about? What am I disappointed in? What do I need to bring to God? And so, um, as every time I feel like a myriad of feelings that are overwhelming, I honor those feelings, and then I might even give myself a day where I'm like, this ain't it. Today ain't the day. Don't expect it from me. I ain't coming. Don't
Hmm.
call me. Don't text me. I'm whatever. And then the next day I'm like, do I want difference? Like, what do I want? What did I learn? What's my self-talk? What's my things? And so you eventually learn your rhythm and pattern, and you learn how to honor yourself. And for me, perseverance looks like showing up when you don't care. Like I just got out of a workout class because I have some stuff to do at BT Awards this weekend. I was like, well, do you want to look cute in the dress? Or do you not want to look cute in the dress? Like, do you want to be like
your best self in this season, or do you want to be, tired a little bit? And that's okay. Sometimes what I'm going to give you is tired, but if I continue to show up each time, I build confidence. I show God that I can handle what He's given me, and I'm a good steward of the life that I have. I can't worry about what's going on about for anyone else, because it'll drive you crazy. And so perseverance looks like showing up when you don't feel like it, when you do feel like it, when you realize that feelings really can't inform you like that. Like, they just can't. If you're waiting for
Right.
your feelings to always be on one accord, especially as women who have hormones and once a month cycles of where our brain will be playing tricks on us, like, sometimes feelings don't matter.
Right.
But you have to be mindful to not dismiss your feelings so much. So it's like that harmony of being like, okay, you got me yesterday, but today I'm coming back. And you have to just be mindful with where you are on the journey for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I love your definition of perseverance because it's what it takes to live life. Like
Yeah.
we have to have so much awareness of ourselves and who we are and who God is, And so that leads me to my next question with you. Um, again with dancing and your experience and just your success. It took a big leap, whether that be spiritually or within a career choice. Can you identify a leap that you remember that shifted your lifespan? It shifted your confidence, maybe you physically, because a lot of us in this season are in the season of in between. We're not where
Mhm.
we were, we're not where we're gonna be, we're in between. And so, what kind of advice, what kind of testimony can you give to those who are in between?
As a fellow in betweener, I would say to follow your spirit, because that is the only thing that has never changed. Follow the Holy Spirit. And that looks like you have to remain close enough to God to literally go where the Spirit leads, because your spirit is the only thing that is going to be guiding you to the next. And it's honest with you, and it feels real to you. Like, I had to turn down a deal because of some extenuating circumstances, and I was like, well, my spirit doesn't feel at peace with yes or no, so I'm going to choose no, because if my spirit can't feel at peace, then there's no point in me doing this, right? And so I I don't know what tomorrow or the next year is going to hold, especially as millennials. Child, everything we learned was wrong, child.
Right.
Not wrong. It's just obsolete. Like, we was told you would have a husband and 2.5 kids in a picket fence and three car garage, like, by 35. Like, I know a couple people with that, but, like, for the most part, people are really struggling right now. And we're having to come to grips with the fact that, like, life doesn't look like what I thought it would look like, but can I still find love in this version of my life? Can I love this version of my life? Can I be grateful in this version of my life? And so, um, the testimony I have for, like, a leap of faith is like, oh, I'm trying to think. Like, the last one was obviously launching Creatives of Faith, but I'm trying to think of one that, like, helped me just to go for. Well, I don't know. It's so interesting. I don't know if I've ever taken a real leap of faith outside of Creatives of Faith, because it was more like a next step in the evolution of who I'm meant to be, if that makes sense,
Mhm.
or what I've been granted the access to. Like, when I would say, like, going out to Debbie Allen was a leap of faith, but my mother made sure that she had the money for me to go out there. Like, it was like I've always been prepared. I've always had opportunity and the privilege to go for a dream because of my mother's own willingness to pour into me. And it's not like she didn't have her reservations in times, but it's always been because I had an amazing support system that was able to help me get to those things. And so I would say one big leap of faith, or one defining moment in my career, was kind of like I was 2 years in, when I lived in New York and I was working at the time with Hot 97 and Essence, and they were auditioning for Wizards host for the Washington Wizards in DC and where I'm from. And so I figured out how to send in some tapes from friends who have been there for a long time. I have figured out how to figure out like how to send in my reel from friends who have been there for a long time. And then I learned how to open up the auditions process, and I was in the audition process, and my city voted me in, and I was just like going back and forth during the preseason. And I was like, God, how am I going to work in New York and live there and live and work in DC? So I asked God, and I was like, if this is meant to be, please make it so it's so obvious that we can figure it out. Please make it figure it outable. Give me the faith and the endurance to do both things. And I'm sure it was a perfect storm of the fact that I was in my 20s. So I had a little extra energy, that I had that time to do it. But I was on a train and playing train or bus 3 times a week in season, where like I would wake up in the morning in New York and be into the office by like 8 a.m., work for 4 hours, then get on the train or bus, get to DC by like 4:35, do my hair, makeup, eat, do the pre-show meeting, then the pre-show, then host the games for 2.5 hours. My mother is a basketball fan. She would pick me up around 9:30 to go to bed, get a couple hours of sleep. My dad, who is also a journalist, will wake up at 3 something with me to get on the 4:25 a.m. train, and I'd be back in New York City the next day like nothing had happened. And I did that for so many years that like I was like, I put in the work. I have put in the work, and this is what I know I can do. Like if I can do this, I know I can do other hard things. And so I definitely was burning, what they say, burning two ends of the stick or something like that. But it was I learned so much in that time. I just loved it. It was like my grad school, and that was a solidifier of my faith in my own ability, but of my faith in like God to like show up.
Right. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. You spoke to me personally because I'm still in my 20s and I definitely write emails and I am in a far location like, hey, I see that you have something going on in New York.
Yeah,
And so I love the fact that that is not obsolete or
yeah,
something that's out of the ordinary.
yeah,
That is actually a display of a leap of faith, you know.
yeah,
So
yeah,
we're hitting a landing here, and I do want to, of course, open up the floor for you to talk to us more about Creatives of Faith. I'm a fellow
yeah.
Creative of Faith. I love it.
You're one of my faves because you be like one of the things that I'm trying to learn how to do is engage everybody because it's really hard. Like I know I have like my strong core like 15, 20 that actually be with me, and then I'm like, y'all, it's 100 people in here. Where y'all at? So I gotta like figure out how to get everybody engaged because I realize that some people are just gonna be masterclass members. Like they just gonna come to mass. That's fine. You can come to mass class. But for the people who are serious about it, I really want to find a way for us to show up more for each other. So we're gonna figure that out. But I say all that to say I'm so grateful you're in Cribs of Faith, and like I love seeing your face on the prayer calls and the master classes, and like you make it so beautiful for us, for like I don't think we realize how much we all matter to each other, how it's an energetic recycling that happens. Like people are not meant to do life alone, but that's what Creators of Faith has always been for me in this last 6 weeks is like, oh, like when you show up, it reminds me to show up. And when I show up, it reminds you to show up. Like, it's just a kind of like the Spider-Man meme, like this exchange of energy
Right.
that like, if you can keep going, I can keep going. And that sometimes makes all the difference. And so I just want to thank you so much for being here and being in it and like really being in it. Like, I appreciate you very much.
Yes, yes, it's definitely an answered prayer. And I love the fact that you are a fellow in-betweener, I'm an
Yes.
in-betweener, but there's so much exchange, there's so much glue. Like God is like He's the Alpha and the Omega and
Come
everything
on.
in between.
Come on.
So, we will definitely open up the floor for you to tell us more about Creators of Faith for those who
Yeah.
join. But we started with Genesis, we're going to end with Revelations.
Come on in here.
I would love to have you share just a inner revelation, an inner passion, topic, quote that comes to you consistently in this season for you in your life. Like, what is something God is literally, nailing to your spirit right now on
Yeah.
to keep you in your passion, to keep you connected to your purpose, and to keep
Yeah.
you connected with Him.
It is so many things. 'Cause I was in prayer this morning and I was like, okay, Lord, it's a lot going on in the world. It's a lot going on with me. It's a lot going on with my friends. Like, it's just a lot. And when I was on my call with my homegirl this morning, we were talking about how like all of it's a lot and we can't carry it. So we might as well just leave it at God's feet. Like the importance of noticing it and being aware of the a lot is one part. But then the release and the ability to say, God, I'm your child. You have come through before. And so I leave this heaviness at your feet. I leave this anxiety at your feet. I leave this feeling overwhelmed at your feet. I am still present. You are still God. And so I leave these things because you're big enough to handle it. And also being honest with God. We talk about this a lot on Craves of Faith. Yesterday I had to have a good old vent session. I was like, Lord, I'm frustrated. What do we do? I trust you. I love you. And also, you're big enough to hear me when I say I'm frustrated with where you have me. What is going on? Where are the things that I've been praying about for years? Like, it's not like a little thing. It's like and then that's when it comes to well, Lord, just take it from take it from, if it's not your desire, take it from my heart. So I'm not, going after things that are not meant for me. But I would say the biggest thing is like remain at God's feet and leave those things that are too big for you to handle at his feet for yourself. For your peace of mind, really.
Right. At your feet, at your feet. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's more than enough. That's more than,
Yes.
and so yeah, I want to open up the floor for you to kind of go deep into Creatives of Faith, what you're doing,
Yeah.
so that people can find you.
Yes.
They need to know more about Gia Peppers. If you guys don't know already, like I said, she's a mogul. This
Thank you, Sid.
everything. So
I am I am so excited that we are here, and I'm gonna start having my girls maybe make some testimonial videos about Crepes of Faith and what has meant, because I think it's too much to explain. I don't even know how to explain it other than the fact that like we are a community that is, our aim is to stay on assignment from God and to be mindful of what God is doing in our lives together, and we do that by deepening our faith together and sharpening our skill set together. And that looks like, at the bare minimum, a monthly masterclass and a monthly prayer call. But it also looks like daily check-ins with each other. And like, now we just started our barter board. We have a job board. We're starting to like really go deeper. We got accountability groups. We've got opportunities for people to share their skills and, test out things. Like one of the things that my friend Kayla and I were talking about was like, this could be a testing ground for ideas. Like, y'all, does this sound good? Would y'all support this? Would y'all buy this? So all of that is a big thing. It's like we cover each other. There is somebody that thinks of you. And that's really important to me on this journey in my life as a creative, as a believer, as somebody that God has called. I know for a fact how much loneliness can kill a dream, how much doubt can kill a dream. And every time I was on the brink of feeling so doubtful that I gave up, I had a friend, I had a word from somebody that was at an event that would be like, oh, you still coming for me, Lord. Okay, cool. And so this is that what I know, because I've been in the depths of sadness and depression, and I've seen how it can literally take people out. And I'm like, no, not on my watch. If we got to walk this thing together, let's walk this thing together. Honestly, truthfully, do our best to be there for each other in this time, and create a community where like one day we have a whole set of creatives of faith who are doing something, creating something, bringing something to life into the world that will be a representative of God's light. And so if you want to join, head to creativesoffaith.com. And if you want to follow my journey, just go to Gia Peppers and also giapeppers.com and just give us a chance, honey. Come to a prayer call, come to a master class, enjoy it, and we would love to have you.
Yes, yes, y'all joined yesterday. Join
Yeah,
yesterday because
yeah.
if you're not in it, you are gonna want to be in it. And like I said, Gia, you thanking me, I want to thank you. Like this, you are Answer Prayer, who you are, as inspiration. Just being able to connect with someone like you is definitely just again an answer prayer. That's how I can describe it. So, we thank you so much for being a part of our first episode this season on Passion and Purpose. You covered the topic passion and perseverance and said a lot of good things and insights
Yes.
about what we needed to hear in this season. And so we'll have this uploaded and everything taken care of. And thank you so much for everyone watching. Stay tuned for the next episode.
Woo!